Hello, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to Open Office Hours. I got a new background. Love it.
So cute.
So, yeah, now no one can make fun of my plants that are not watered and my bare wall back here. Anyways, welcome to Open Office Hours. I am Crystal. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. I'll let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Tatiana. I'm part of the sales team here.
Hey everyone, I'm Brandy and I'm also part of the sales team.
Awesome. Okie doke. So, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, Open Office Hours is really just kind of a venue to come and ask whatever questions you have. So if throughout the week you've come across some things that just would be easier to just hop in here and ask instead of trying to type them out and that kind of thing, and you need maybe a visual, happy to answer those questions, whether it's how-tos, workflows. It really doesn't matter where you are at in your journey with Synchro, because whatever questions you have probably will be helpful for other folks that are in the room as well. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Again, they can be super basic or they can go deep dive. So we're open to whatever. For those of you that are returning, I recognize some names, so thanks for joining us again. We appreciate you hanging out with us. So yeah, at this point, like, just ask whatever kind of questions you have. We'll share our screen. We'll show in-app stuff and hopefully help guide you in that direction. Anything, did I miss anything, ladies?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is funny because I was like, Tatiana's doesn't have flair. She needs flair back.
This is just starting.
Wow.
We're just starting this.
Wow, Evan, I see you calling me out like that. I see how it is. I don't think, I mean, I see you. I see you. We'll see. We'll see where this goes.
Like,
Maybe if you'll send, Evan, if you'll send Tatiana some Zoom backgrounds. Actually, we had, I don't know if Carl's in here, but he had sent us some Zoom backgrounds after one of our open office hours. And I was like, all right, I really need to change this.
I need to get like a green screen or something because I had that same issue that Brandy and Crystal had previously where you I turn on the virtual background thing and then it's just like my mouth or like my hair. I mean, if you guys want to see like a jungle forest with just Tatiana's hair, we can do that.
well, what happens is, so full disclosure, I'm Italian and I talk quite often with my hands and they go like this. This is a green screen. But before this, like if I try to do the virtual background, it just was like random, like of like fireworks going off. So it just didn't work. So I did. I got my green screen and I'm happy. I'll like just randomly change my background now and see who notices it first. Anyways, we divert. I'm going to read this question from Brad. I need to run a program on every workstation. I understand how to run the program. I don't know how to download the program. It stops after 1 kilobyte. Okay, I guess there's, to answer your question, I think, Brad, there's a couple of different ways to do this. So I think it kind of depends on how you're doing it. So let me share my screen. And I think it's going to be on this presentation here for a sec. So let me do that. And then, is it on the presentation right now? There. Okay. You good? Seeing my screen properly? Okay, so when I think about this, what I think right away is if you're going to install a program, I'm thinking like my first thought process goes to doing it via a policy, and there's a couple ways that you can do this. So one of the first thoughts would be to do it via third-party patch management because, and please, ladies, hop in if you're thinking this throughout a different way. But from here, like we have install an update on all of these apps here, and you can add applications now. So if it's something that's in the library of Chocolatey, you can just add this into a policy level. So if it's part of Chocolatey, you can just add applications, start searching, and hopefully it's there. And then that way you don't have to worry about the size or anything like that, and you can do it en masse on a policy level. In addition to that, so say for example, it's something outside of Chocolatey, you still can do that via a policy. So you might have to do it via a script instead of maybe if you're doing it, I don't actually know exactly how you're doing it right now. So the other way to do that, if it's outside of our third-party application patch management, you could run a script. So you could do a deployment script, and you could either do it via a policy, or you could do like you could go to assets in RMM, you could do a saved asset search and grab the particular assets. Like you could do a search and say, I want to look for all of the machines that don't have a specific, like here, like that don't have a specific application, get that saved asset search, and then run a script on all of those machines to install it. I hope that answers your question. If there's any, did I miss anything, ladies?
No, he just said not in Chocolatey, trying to dump it to a support folder on the C drive.
Oh.
My problem is getting the software to the computer.
Okay, so then another thing then with that, I still think that then now, if it's not in Chocolatey, this would have to be done via a script. And then with that said, if you do it via a script, you can have a required file. So you can download that exe or destination path here and have that run before the script runs. So I think that will solve it. And if anyone in the room here has any input on that, that would be helpful. But that's where my brain just went. Does that seem right?
Yep.
Cool. Yep. Okay. Sweet.
I have a question also that actually one of my MSPs, and I think this is a good point too, if there's ever a time that you're not able to make open office hours, if you do want to email your account rep, if you have a question, we're happy to read it to the group and get some input from others. You guys feel free to send back. You can just chat back or put in the Q&A. Or you can send me an email afterwards. But I told someone that I would ask. He's just starting. He's an MSP, brand new. He wants to know if you guys have a particular charge that you have for servers and workstations per month. So for managed devices, per server, and per workstation. And if anyone wants to share what that cost is, that would be fantastic. I want to pass that along to him. People helping people.
I love that.
Dalton wants to know, is there a way to be selective in what app crash items are turned into alerts? So I think all application crashes will be alerts, but then you could use automated remediation to choose like which ones you actually want to be notified on. Am I on the right track there? Does anyone want to like dive into that? Do you know what okay, so let me share my screen. So right now, I'm going to go just to any asset here. Right now, any application that crashes turns into an RMM alert. You'll see it here in the recent activity. It will also be, oh, maybe this would help. It'll also be in this alerts section too. And all application crashes come here. So the only thought process of being able to decide which ones create alerts and which ones don't, I mean, you can turn off that alert system altogether on a policy level, but it's global. It's like black or white on that one. But if you had like an application failure here, like any of these alerts, you can choose to like mute, and you could turn it off forever if you wanted to. If there's like a specific application crash that you just don't care about, like you could mute that forever here. And then the other place I was going is that you could manage those application crashes here, and you could create an automated remediation. You could have, like, if it includes, like, you could have, our faces keep getting in the way, sorry, I keep moving my mouse. If your trigger category was like an application crash or something like that, you could also have it like be that the trigger category, like maybe it includes a certain thing, and you could have it automatically clear the alert. Like you could do it that way, or again, you could have it choose to just escalate only certain things by creating a ticket or alerting you in a different way. Did I miss anything there?
Real quickly, Daniel asked, when you mute the app crash, is it just for that asset or global? You can actually choose if you mute it for that individual asset or if you're muting it for all assets.
Let me go back to that. Oops, I'm going in the wrong spot. Sorry.
Yeah, in the alerts.
Let me go back there so you can see the setting here. So any, whatever it is, if I mute, so you can see, you can choose just for that machine or all assets, and then you have these options.
Yep. The only thing I would, and it might not be the perfect place to look, but under the policies, you can monitor processes and services, as well as event log IDs, and you could use both of those to trigger automated remediations as well. So use those as plugins if you're looking for specific app crashes. I don't know if that perfectly ties in under that category, but either of those I think would work as well.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good call, because what you like, if you only want to be alerted on very specific things, like you could just probably turn off is like this completely, like you could just not have that selected and then use process and service monitoring to only monitor the things that you want. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Question in here from Adam. He says, do you know what the max file size for the required file, the max file size the required file can cope with, since this is being stored on Synchro? Any guesses on some kind of limit? So yes, there is a limit. So max file sizes, and I'll drop this into the chat box again. It's 200 megabytes for script files, 20 megabytes for customer, asset, and ticket attachments, and then 100 megabytes for file transfers in Synchro Live. I don't know of a limit for the entire account, but I'll drop those numbers into the chat box as well for you guys.
File system is definitely 100 megabytes.
Mm-hmm. And then Randolph is asking, are we recording? If yes, are they available? Yep. If you go over to our YouTube channel, the previous ones are in there in a folder of their own, or like a playlist of their own. So you can check out the previous ones and see them there.
That's so funny. Anytime someone asks, I like panic to look to make sure I recorded, and I did.
We're good to go. Awesome.
Someone asked also about the, I don't think you guys went over this, where the Chocolatey integration is found. So I'll just go ahead and pull that up really quickly. So you'll just go into your policies, and you can either go to policy modules and you can go to third-party patch management. Otherwise, you can just pop open any of your policies, and here you'll go down to that third-party patch management. And then you'll come in here, you can either create a new one or edit that. And then when you come to add an application, that's where Chocolatey is. You can either search for it here, or you can absolutely just click on Chocolatey. I think there's like 7,000 apps that are in there, and you can find packages this way, but it's just showing you what's available. But those are found in policies.
Perfect. Okay, next question here is from Brad. He says, feature request, there's a known bad update currently. I would like the Windows updates to not install until the patch is fixed, and I allow it. I don't think this is an option right now. A security update, KB, is blacklisted due to major known issues reported over blogs and forums. The update can cause BSOD, system crashes, performance degradation, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi issues. So yeah, this is a really good point. So I'll share my screen here real quick, and he's asking if there is a way to block one specific patch that is known to cause issues. So currently, when you're setting up your Windows patches, either by going to the direct policy or using the policy module in here, I'll show you, there's a couple things to keep in mind here. So currently there isn't a way to specify one specific patch and block only that one. You can block an entire category. So again, when you're setting up your Windows patch policies, you have a list of categories here to choose from. So in my example here, I have security updates selected, and the ones you select are going to be allowed to install. I have a specified running on a schedule on a daily basis, and I'm telling Synchro I want it to respond in this way. What happens to the rest of these that you leave blank, these patch categories that you leave blank, is they will be blocked. They're going to start filtering in as missing under the Windows Patch Management section on the individual asset basis. So if you go over to the Windows Patches section, you have a list of those missing patches filtering into here, and they would be listed here at that point. And then once you determine that they're safe, let's say these top two are good to go, you can either install individually or install all. The other ones I recommend too, if you head over to the reports section, we do have two in here that I recommend to almost everyone that I do a demo with, the vulnerable systems and missing patches by KB. So this first one will show which endpoints are missing how many patches. And you can, at that point, if you looks like, you know, these three endpoints right here need a little bit of attention. So you can either go to the asset and update individually or just install all for those endpoints. And then the second report is going to be kind of the inverse of that first one. You have a list of KBs, how many endpoints they're missing across. So if you, again, if you've done your research, done your testing, you determine that these are actually safe and good to go, you can push it, install individually or install all available and selected in there. So hopefully that helps answer your question.
I see one in here from Jose. Is there a way to have Synchro not send an automatic reply to specific email addresses? Example, email comes in from notify@ringcentral.com. It creates a ticket in Synchro, but when Synchro replies to notify@ringcentral.com that a ticket is created. So unless I'm reading this wrong, I think it has to do with your notifications. So those are going to be the emails that are sent to you all, obviously not the ones that are sent to the customer. But you can each have your own set of notifications. So whatever email address this particular user has, you can come in and just unselect email from there. So if you don't want to get it notified when there's a new ticket created, then you can come in here and you can choose. If you just want to get it when a new ticket is assigned to you, you could select that as well. So those are some different options in there.
Yeah, just to add a little bit onto that one, I think this might be something too in regards to like a third-party application feeding in to Synchro.
Gotcha.
So in that case, like you can disable all emails on a customer level. So like if you create Ring Central as a customer, you could just disable so that you could just disable emails altogether, because I'd imagine that it's not just ticket emails. You wouldn't want to get autoresponders and that kind of thing. So you could just go to that. You could just create Ring Central as a customer and then disable email too.
Gotcha.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Go ahead, Tatiana.
Yeah, I'm looking at this question is from Evan. He says, is there a way to alert only if the app has crashed more than X amount of times and Y amount of times? So I'll show you what we do currently have available. Let me share my screen here. So if we go back over to the automated remediation, you can, when you're setting up these, you can select the trigger category here. You can say rate limit is this amount of time per this amount of days. So this is where you would set that up. A question. And then we have another one in here real quick, just a little bit more clarification, Roger, from you. You said, can you please go over the setup for marking assets exempt from billing? Don't know what he's referring to there.
Yeah, I was reading that as well. I'm not sure if it's like if you're trying to create an all-you-can-eat type thing to where they're not getting billed for hours, if that's what you're referring to, or if you're referring to like on a recurring invoice how you bill per endpoint and you want to mark this one, you know, to not be counted. A little bit more clarification on there.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think I read it. Like if you're billing per endpoint, how do you mark that one exempt? But yeah, clarification would be good.
So Someone said for the Ring Central question, if the Ring Central email doesn't exist on a company or contact in Synchro, then those voicemails will be created as leads instead of tickets. Then you can get notified when there's a new lead created and manually convert that voicemail to a ticket. This might make more sense anyways, because you need to change the company to the correct client in the voicemail anyways. Thank you.
Okay, Ryan. Is there a shortcut that I can use to launch the agent contact form from a desktop link? Also, agent contact form doesn't work on a Mac at the moment. Oh, it doesn't. I didn't know that. Did you guys?
Didn't either, because I know the system tray icon does work. I was actually just looking at the matrix because I know the system tray icon is there, but I wasn't aware of the agent contact form not working on a Mac. I can pop that in and just make sure that's a known thing.
Cool. The first part of that, is there a shortcut that I can use to launch the agent contact form from a desktop link? I don't know if I get it.
I get this request sometimes. What people usually ask for is like an actual desktop icon, like you can double click Chrome to open it that way, but they would like, I think that's what he's asking for, is to be able to populate the agent contact form by double clicking an icon on the desktop. Currently not available, but a lot of people do ask for that.
Yeah, we did actually have someone, I think someone like built a custom script to have a shortcut on the desktop. But I think that's also, like Tatiana's mentioning, that's something that we've heard a lot. We're continuing to add a ton to the system tray icon and a lot of different functionality and some huge things that I won't blast on open office hours, but really fun stuff happening. I don't think the desktop link is something that I see happening in the next like month or so, based upon roadmap, but we'll put it on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I see a question in here about the agent contact form and what that's used for. So let me just give you a little tour real quick. All right, so there's going to be a couple different places you're going to want to make sure you set this up. First of all, you're going to go into your policies, and then you're going to go to policy modules again, and you'll go to agent contact forms. An agent contact form is essentially giving someone the opportunity to create a ticket from their system tray icon. So you can have multiple different agent contact forms, and I can create one. You can use your account logo if you'd like to. You'll also be able to select your success page. So once this is created that says, thank you, your request has been received, as well as if there was an error message, you can also choose the form or the required fields. And then you can choose how it is going to, the things that are going to happen in the background. So some people like to have multiple agent contact forms. They have one for an emergency, and then they have one just for a standard one, and you can trigger some different things in the background. All the customer will see is emergency or support ticket or whatever your verbiage is that you put in there. Then you're going to come into your policies, and you'll be able to choose those. So I'm going to open up a policy. You'll go down to your system tray menu, and then you'll select agent contact form. You can choose which agent contact form, and you can choose what the title is going to be, what it's going to say. Now I'll show you what it looks like for the customer. You guys are probably all very familiar with Larry here. I am as well. So right here, that menu that we just created in policies, you'll see this option, support request and emergency ticket. Both of them are going to be an agent contact form. They just trigger differently in the background. And then you can include an image of their screen. It will screen capture so they don't have to do any work here. Hello, testing. And then I'll send this off. Of course, that's your logo, or whichever logo you add in that agent contact form. And then the next screen is going to be the success screen that you also get to customize. Yep, I think this is the easiest way for someone to create a ticket on their own, honestly. It takes less time than them calling you, less time than an email as well.
Mm-hmm. Dalton asks a question in here. He says, new to this, when Windows 10 20-04 is released soon, does Windows Update policy deal with that gracefully? So as far as I'm aware, it won't actually update the Windows version. for you guys, but I'm double checking on that for sure, because as I showed previously, it's based off of the categories that are listed in the Windows patches section on the policy, but I'll double check for you, Dalton.
Awesome. I'm going to read this one out loud because I'm kind of curious if anyone else has input here, because I do kind of think this is a bug. So Justin says he created this beautiful instruction document of how to work from home using documentation and the customer portal. Uploaded the images using available files and made sure that the documentation was viewable on that customer's portal based upon permissions group, and they weren't able to see those images. So Justin, first, I've not heard this, so I either think that it's either maybe a bug or something to do with the images or the sizes or something along the lines of the images. So what I would do is probably link to that documentation sheet and submit a ticket to help@syncromsp.com so we can look at it, because they should be able to see those images.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to grab back to Roger's question. He says, correct, Crystal, to make the asset counter not bill for certain agents. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. And so this is going to be done again. There's so many use cases for this assets and RMM saved asset search here. So from here, this is where, again, you would probably, like, if you have certain assets that, so I'll go to the reoccurring invoice also. So you can either bill like dynamically for every endpoint that has an agent installed, or you can bill using a saved asset search. So with that said, what you can do is create a custom field type for those assets that are non-billable, and just, it could be a checkbox, it could be a drop down, whatever it is. So like if it was a checkbox or something like that, you could just, so like asset checkbox field, for example, say, this is a workstation and it's checked, but actually it's like exempt computer is checked. Create a saved asset search for that, because then once you do that, when you go over to your reoccurring invoices, and I'm just going to grab one really quick, invoice modules, reoccurring invoices. These are dynamic counters again. So if there's anyone new to billing, I'm just going to go into any of these here. And so you have these different line item types. And so if you use an asset and RMM counter, then you use the asset search. So like, let's say it's the workstations that have the checkbox, then it's true. You would just bill for those machines, or you know what I mean? So using the saved asset search and custom fields is how you can create a dynamic counter based upon the actual machines that you want to be billing per endpoint for. Did I miss anything on that? Cool. Sweet. What's next?
Question here, it says, what is the easiest way to do a program's inventory for a client and then delete it? So I'll show you what we currently have available. Let's share the screen here. A couple things. First things first, you can see the software inventory, right? Did I understand the question correctly? Programs inventory for a client. Yep, software inventory. You can see this on an asset per asset level. If you go to the endpoint here, go to installed apps and see a list here. Unfortunately, we don't currently have a way to uninstall from this page. You would have to do that either using a script on a policy, but I'll show you how to do that in a couple different ways when we get to this third tab here. So that's the first way you can see the inventory on an endpoint per endpoint basis. The other one I recommend too is if you go over to your reports section, you do have a RMM report in here. Let me get back there. That is a software inventory report. And this will pull up for the entire customer everything that they have installed in their endpoints, the count, install count for each app. And so if you need to save this as a favor or run this on a schedule to your customer, or whatever you might need to do at that point, that's available as well. But the last thing I'll mention too is you can, we've showed this a couple times, this saved asset search. If you go to the assets and RMM section and then click this little magnifying glass to the left, you can create a saved search if you're looking for a particular app that is installed that you're looking to uninstall. You can search for the application in there, name this saved search, save it, and then once you click into that saved search, it'll pull up a list of endpoints in here for you that applied under those conditions. You can select all, Then go to manage, run a script to uninstall that app across all those endpoints there. That's currently how you would do that.
Cool. Justin wants to know, when someone uses an agent contact form to submit a ticket, as opposed to the email address, does it trigger the ticket autoresponder email so the client will get their ticket number and all of their information? As far as I am aware, everything should be the same. It's still generating a ticket. I will show that you can do some other things also. So in the background, I was showing you when you created those agent contact forms, you could have it trigger a certain ticket type if you wanted to. What you could also use is your different ticket automations, and you can come in and say, okay, the ticket type is emergency ticket, and then I want to do these actions. So you can also have additional automations. You can do tons of different things with these agent contact forms. Yep.
This is
Tony.
I usually don't even have chat up. In fact, I think I normally have it disabled, and now I'm reading all of this chat, and it's pretty funny. And Brandy, does Brandy have any beans to spill? I don't know.
I need to really keep my mouth shut today, because I know Crystal mentioned last week, every Thursday we have a full team meeting and our developers show us some really cool stuff that's coming out, but they don't tell us the date. And so I don't know if it's today, and I don't know if it's 3 weeks from now, because they're still working on it. Let's just say there's some really good stuff. And we've seen it firsthand. We saw new things yesterday, but I'm afraid to report back today because I just don't know. And I would really be spilling the beans.
I'm gonna grab this one from Tony. Is there currently an integration between TechSuite and Synchro? So the answer is yes. It is. So TechSuite has, I think, 3 different versions. The integration only becomes available on the TechSuite side if you have the $49 a month version. You can set up that integration, and then what that does is you can run a script via Synchro, and you can run those TechSuite procedures. It can create a ticket, and then all of the output of those procedures go right into the ticket. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. For those of you that don't know, TechSuite is actually we have 4 products, and TechSuite is one of those products.
We're not selling out to a larger company. Erin said, please don't. We're not.
No worries there.
That's one of the best things is our leadership team is our founders are involved. They're super involved. So we're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Jana, no, because I'm doing something in the background. Go for it.
Okay, sure. So question here is, how is the Domo integration? So I will share my screen here real quick and show you guys what is available in Domo. So if you guys are currently in trial, a couple things to mention here. Let me move our faces again. So Domo is a premium integration that is available as built into the advanced pricing tier of Syncro. And so it is completely separate from the reporting that we have built in. Like I said, if you go over to the App Center, it literally is access to Domo Analytics, which is, it kind of gives you very detailed KPI type of information based on the ticket statistics that you have built into Syncro. So meaning here, let me log in here so I can show you. If you are on trial, you can test this for free. All you have to do is just enter your Syncro login credentials. Syncro MS. I cannot type and talk at the same time. I don't know if anybody
Me
else
neither.
struggles with that. I'm always seeing.
Every time I get to this part on a demo, it's awkward silence.
Yeah, and I always apologize for it too, because I'm like, it's not you, it's me. I don't know. I literally, it's just a struggle. So again, if you're on trial, you can test this for free. It basically gives you very, very detailed information. So I do recommend this for people who have larger teams. You want to maximize the efficiency of your techs. You want to see ticket statistics, time to resolution, peak time of the day tickets are created, who out of your team is the most efficient in completing tickets the quickest, or I mean, you have all of these reports are pre-built in here, and then you can filter things down even further if you need to. So again, it is very useful information. You can see a lot of detailed information that help you make better business decisions. But with all that being said, you don't get any customer facing reports in here, and no RMM reports live in here as well. So those are built into Synchro organically. So again, a lot of people do utilize Doma Analytics for very detailed ticketing, invoicing efficiency type of reporting. So hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rick's question is, when using assets and RMM counter and billing, is there a way to create a bundle if you're using more than one asset search? And then +1 from Roger. Not that I know of. You just have to use multiple asset searches and have multiple lines at this point. I'm curious, just because we have the time. I'm just curious, maybe more of like the exact use case. So is that like, if it's a workstation, then you charge this thing for the workstation, and then you also charge for backup, and then you also charge for AV, and then you also charge for something else? Like, is it like that? Just so that I can
Oh yeah.
understand.
He says, yeah. You could technically still, and I'll just share. I mean, you could, it's not going to be creating a bundle, but you can absolutely still support that. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to set it up, but you can still bill based on number of endpoint for anything, even if it's, I mean, you can use the same counter over and over. And an example would be like, okay, I'm going to bill them per endpoint, first of all. And then you could come in here and you can use the asset counter again. And you could say, okay, I'm going to charge for Office 365 based on endpoint. And you could add that. And then you could have another product for backup based on endpoint or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so you could just continue doing that. I mean, unless you had a policy where you knew every single person in that policy was going to have backup, antivirus, etc., and you could clone policies and then you could bill dynamically based on the policy. So that might be like your platinum package, that type of a thing. But I think you can definitely do it. Well, I know you can do it. You'll just, if you want to do every single one individually, it will take a little bit of work.
And then also too, like with when you've got your screen up right there.
Yeah.
Those descriptions are totally customizable, and you can customize those like per invoice, or like you could make that like if it was per endpoint billing, for example, you could have a per endpoint billing that was called per endpoint AV backup da da da, and have all of those listed in the description. So technically it would look like a bundle. So so you have a customer that you have all of their endpoints, you bill them for A, B, and C, and customer B, you bill them for C, D, and E, or something like that. You could have just multiple per endpoint actual like products in your inventory, and the description could all have different lists, and you can always edit those on the fly as well.
You could also create a bundle. So your product in the products and services section could be a bundle of antivirus, backup, whatever you wanted. And then in here, pretend this says bundle, all inclusive or whatever. You could do that and do a dynamic counter based on this particular bundle. But it's not going to be, I will say, where this comes, where people don't like it is it's not going to be AV backup. It's not going to itemize those different items. It's just going to show as bundle. But you could say, bundle, AV, backup, whatever it is. That's another way you could do it. There's a lot of ways. I think this is a good point. You can bill a lot of different ways in Synchro.
Absolutely. And if Rick, if all you want is one line item, I would just update the description to include all of the things that are included in there. I would just use the description to do that.
Sure.
I think that's probably the quick and easy of it. And since we just added the ability to clone your reoccurring invoice, which was like
huge,
then you do it once and you can just keep cloning. So I think that those descriptions are, I think that a lot of times you don't realize you can just edit those descriptions, which is cool. Okay. Quick question. We have a partnership with Bitdefender. Could we use it to integrate with Syncro? Great question. So there's like a short answer, which is at this time, no. But then the longer answer is that got pushed up on the roadmap. So we are working on being able to migrate existing Bitdefender accounts into Synchro right now as it stands today, and I don't have like a specific date that this is going to be released. But so for right now, you would have to provision the integration through the Synchro app card. Okay, what's next?
Good question. I'll just grab this top one here. Roger says, in my case, I have some customers with different policies installed on their computers, like Office or Shop, but the asset and RMM counter only applies one policy. I think that means policy across the board. So at that point, if you have, I mean, you can bill on a per policy basis. I think we did share that in one of those, but I'll show you again. If we go over to the, I'll pull up my policies here, and I will also show the recurring, where is my invoices? Here we go. The recurring invoices section here. So again, if you're building your recurring invoices and you have the same customer, but you have two different policies that you're enabling for either two different departments or whatever the story might be, or different levels of monitoring, you can use the RMM package in here. And this list right here directly correlates with your list of policies that you have here. So for example, if you have one for workstations and one for servers, or admin computers versus shop floor workers or something like that, and you're monitoring different things, you could just pull those into here and have them sitting as separate line items. I have an example of that in here. So you have like a level 1, and it looks like there's one endpoint that is being monitored at this level under this policy for this specific customer, and then a separate policy, and again, it's just listed dynamically that way. And if you're charging a different price, obviously build it out that way. But hopefully that answers your question.
Awesome. Justin, I totally agree. I think that's cool. I'll just read it. Here's a question. We were trying to figure this out. Can you guys see all of these Q&As? Like, do I need to read this out loud, what Justin's suggestion was?
See it.
See this? But I love the idea. So if you bill for a certain type of licenses on a server, server 1 has 15 of these licenses, server 2 has 18, server 3 has 5. I think that's a really cool way. If like you're saying, you could go out and see like which licenses are applied and bill accordingly. Totally agree. I think it's awesome. Zwinkies, that might be.
That's funny.
That's really funny.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to read this out loud. I think I had the answer, but I'm sure someone else out in the audience probably has a better one.
Yeah, I was waiting on them too.
I'm working on rolling out Bitdefender one customer at a time. I've created a new policy for workstations and servers in Syncro enabling Bitdefender. Do you know when I roll out the new policies, will a new company be created in Gravity Zone, or do I need to do that manually? Also, I believe Syncro will install Bitdefender from the policy, but where is Syncro grabbing the install package from? So I believe that the company is created in Gravity Zone when it's installed, because each customer has its own unique path. So I think that a new company is created in Bitdefender. Don't quote me on it. And then let's see, where is Syncro grabbing the install package from? So it's grabbing it straight from Gravity Zone. So in the policy, you can choose which additional things you want to have enabled, but then the real nitty gritty of it is all done on the Gravity Zone side. So I think it just organically installs the Gravity Zone package, which we just had a webinar on this, that I didn't realize that there's 30 layers of protection just in the base Gravity Zone package, which is phenomenal. So it installs that organically, and then any other things you need to add on or change, it's all done on the Gravity Zone side. So again, if you haven't seen that video, I think we probably put it on YouTube. It was really helpful for me to learn the different layers of protection and how to actually enable those in Gravity Zone, because a lot of that, or most of that, is done on the Gravity Zone side.
I'm muted. I also just dropped the KB on the Gravity Zone integration into, I think you guys can see it. I think I dropped it in the Q&A. I didn't send privately, so you should be able to see that. If you don't, let me know and I'll resend it through chat.
Cool. Yeah, and I do see if you are not already subscribed, I feel weird telling you to subscribe. But our YouTube channel here, and we do put all of our open office hours on here. We always laugh at the thumbnails, but this webinar, this is the newest one, this Bitdefender webinar. So it is on our YouTube channel if you weren't able to make it. So letting you know that it's there.
Does this mean we're YouTubers since we're on YouTube and we ask people subscribe to our channel?
I always tell people also to click on the video tab because you'll be able to see all of these influencers. Yeah. When we first started doing these, they weren't all posted. So I know I sent some to quite a few of you guys weekly. But now we're getting a lot better about posting those. And so they should, Crystal's looking outside. It should be posted every week, which will be really nice. I always tell people the best training you can have with Synchro is to go back and listen to those. If you're, working on something else and you need something playing in the background, we learn stuff every week from you guys. And usually that's like the best tips and tricks that you guys can learn because every single week is different.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sorry, my dog goes nuts over some people walking outside. So
we're not real YouTubers until you tell us all to click the notification bell so you'll know when we post a new video. So there you go. We're official.
Doing it. I'm not doing it.
I love it.
Well, we have like 14 more minutes. What else? What other questions?
I know, this has gone like super fast. You guys were only at 40 questions. Last week we had 100.
How's everybody doing? How's everyone hanging in there? Anyone picking up new hobbies? I think it's funny. I love hearing what people are doing.
I'll resend the link.
Oh, cool. Okay, thanks.
I'll drop it in the chat box. That might be easier. There we go.
Something we recently shipped that I think is pretty cool. I don't know if I can share my mobile app. I do that sometimes on demos, but within the mobile app, you now can see your alerts. And so that was very, very highly requested, and a lot of people were really happy about that. So you can now view, there's a whole alerts section you can go in there, or if you go onto the endpoint, you can see the alerts that are specific to that endpoint as well. I mean, like I said, I've never tried joining via mobile phone. I don't know if I'm going to do it just because I'll probably mess something up. So I don't want to show you what I have on my phone, but it's in there. Go look. There you go.
Roger just said, I have a suggestion. Some people might need 2 address lines for their company information. I've definitely heard that previously, and I think that is a very fair request. So we just popped that in our channel as well. I hear that pretty often. Dancing in the hallway, streets are closed.
I don't know if we read this one already. Tony says
it's lawn season.
I thought you were starting a band, not becoming YouTube stars.
You know what's funny is, well, we can't see Crystal's keyboard or guitar there. See, she's actually going to play a song for us today. No, we have a lot of you have probably worked with Xavier previously in tech support. He's awesome. He's an extremely good musician, and yesterday we got to close out our team meeting by him playing the ukulele and singing, and it was super cool. So I asked him what he was doing at 9 a.m. Pacific today, but maybe we can get him to open up one of our open office hours so you guys actually think we have a band.
I love it.
You got to turn to whatever you can at this point.
Oh, one thing that I know is coming out today. There's an update to reports coming out today. Different scheduling types of reports and that kind of thing. So I'm sure, I'm wondering if you all have gotten that email while we've been in here. Let's see, does anyone want to go over editing invoice templates? Because I don't believe we have a video.
I don't think there's a KB or a video on it.
Maybe we could just show it. Should we show that really quick?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
So, editing invoice templates. If you go over to the admin section, and then go under your PDF and email templates, click on the invoice template in here. This is a preview of it, obviously, and then just click into Edit Invoice Templates section here. So what's cool is you have a ton of different available tags. You can drag and drop to customize this. Obviously, you can put your own logo in here. If you really want to get fancy and very, very custom with it, you can also edit the HTML here. The cool thing with invoice templates specifically is you can have multiple versions here as well. So if you go over to the actual invoice templates section, you can choose which one you want to be the default, and then kind of customize it there even further. There you go.
Sweet.
Did you get your keyboard?
Justin's moving. Yes! It's over here. It's over there.
Roger wants to know.
I can now
And
play.
he also wants in the band.
I can now play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I don't know. I can do like where you play it with both hands, like so one hand's doing one thing and the other hand's doing another thing. I don't know what that's called, but I did it, and I'm excited about that.
Lots of requests here for Synchro swag, you guys. Love it. At least a couple I'm seeing in here. So lots of people
I had
are
my own
asking for
Synchro
that.
swag made. So see, you guys can do that too. You just have to take it to an embroidery shop.
Oh. Rick wants to know, is there any plans to allow emails to come from select email addresses? I do believe that is something that we plan on doing. Is that available in the SMTP beta? I don't actually know.
Like a different outbound email address?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know either.
Rick, just so for everybody, we have an SMTP beta going on right now. You can email tech support and they can get you into that beta and get you the KB information. I don't know if that's included. You can now send out, you can have different invoice templates, which is cool because if you have like different addresses or something like technical, like mailing addresses or something, you could do that.
Question.
Sorry, I just on the editing, I dropped the link in there. Douglas says the link doesn't work. I just tested and it worked for me. Are you guys having that issue as well? If so, I can write down your email and I can send it to you. I'll try it again though.
Roger says, I tried to change the company address area and just couldn't figure it out. So I just double checked this. One thing you might want to look into, I went over to the admin section and then I clicked under the, I believe it was account profile. I think maybe this is where it's pulling the address from. So if you're putting your own company address into here, I think maybe that is where this recurring invoice or this invoice template is pulling this information from. So I would just double check that and see if that works for you.
Who can help me fix my mouse? It's going crazy.
Batteries. New batteries.
No batteries. It plugs in and it's full, and now whenever I'm moving it around, it's not moving. So sorry, we can't read these.
Sam says, can you please give an example of how to monitor Linux or Macs? So Sam, we don't have a Linux agent. We do have a Mac agent in beta. If you want access to it, either email help@synchromsp.com or reach out to your account rep. We will give you access to it. Roger says, syncopation, Crystal, can be hard. You are better at syncropation. I'm guessing that's what it means to play with both.
I literally wish these lasted all day long. Seriously.
Awesome.
Just gonna like leave the room open and just hang out.
That would be, imagine we just had like an open office like
Day.
lounge. Yeah, every Friday. Hop in when you're ready.
Uh,
Cool.
is there a difference between the customer wiki page versus customer documentation? Nope. Only way for customers to see parts charge on their ticket in their portal for approval would be to use estimate and not just the adds part button. Correct.
Yes.
We are heavy break fix. Is there a way to get full asset info to show on a ticket without using magnifying glass? Just show all info by default. Oh, no. Good question.
Yeah.
That might be, I like that request. We do have a lot of break fix hybrid businesses in Synchro, so I think that that's a pretty valuable request. We'll write that down, Garrett.
Sam also asked about other assets such as routers and printers. So I'm just going to pull up my screen real quick if I can get this mouse to work. So they're not going to be managed devices in Syncro, but you can absolutely create, if you go into assets in RMM, you can absolutely create additional assets. They're just going to be manual assets. You're still able to store information, have custom fields. You can create tickets against each of these as well. So you can also set these up in the admin section. If you go into, I think it's under customers, your asset custom fields, you'll be able to choose. So for example, for routers, I can come into manage fields and I can choose my custom fields that are going to be shown. Just good for asset management, even if they're not managed devices.
Question here, we are moving from another RMM. What is the best way to import? Good question. There's lots of different ways you can do different.
From?
Yeah, really good question. It depends, depends on where you're moving from. We have some built-in importers available. If you go over to the App Center, scroll down towards the bottom, we have people moving across from lots of different other software. So you use the app cards, and depending on which one it is, it imports different types of information. If you're looking to import your endpoints, you could use the agent installer app card in here. Gives you instructions on how to use that. You can also, if you want to, kind of the similar setup, if you search for silent in our help center, it'll give you a video on actually how to set that up as well.
And I think, unless anything's changed since our conversation, I think he uses Komodo 1. So if you want to shoot me an email, I can send you a script that will just put Syncro on all of the devices that are in Komodo. If you want to do that, I'm pretty sure that's what you're using.
Yep. And then as well as if you go over to the report section, there's lots of other things you can import: customers, inventory, things like that. And then our tech expert team does have internal tools to import your tickets and invoices as well if you want to email them.
I remember what every single person, I went to my calendar and I looked.
I was like,
I cheated.
That was excellent recall. We do have someone on the team that has a memory like a trap. It's crazy.
I feel like I have a really good memory, but I'm pretty sure we started our conversation in like August. So I had to go back and look.
Sunny wants to know, is Syncro planning on having an SNMP module to grab data from a myriad of devices? Yes, Sunny, we do plan to do that. I don't have yes, this is happening and it's happening on May 15th, but it is happening. It's on the roadmap. It's scheduled. So we're working on that.
Tony says to the person who's moving from Komodo, I did it using the script and it worked great. So awesome. Thank you.
I think we missed this question in the chat, but I need a second to pull it up. The question was, unless I missed that, we did not miss it. Question is, can you go over warranty template process and tell us if it can apply to multiple products / multiple customers, products, etc. So I don't know a ton of people that utilize, at least on demos, we usually don't dive in this deep, but I want to make sure that I can address this question for you. So if you go over to the admin section, search for warranty templates. You build these, I believe, on just build the warranty, and then you can apply in here on a customer level. So I'll show you, if we go over to the customer section here, you can then apply that warranty and to a specific customer, and it's going to be listed in their regular customer profile here, right under here. And then you can also view a list of warranties on a customer per customer basis in here. I don't remember if there a report for that as well. Let me double check. Yeah, warranties by expiration. So you do apply you create the warranty first and then apply it to the customer in here. Hopefully that is helpful to you as well.
No current public roadmap.
No, we release things all the time. I think it would take like a full employee just to keep it up to date. We do have an internal one though, and so it's not meant to be private. So if you do have any questions, we're happy to tell you. Roger, why open office hours on Friday? Because Fridays are fun.
Because we want to start your weekend just off, make it a good start.
Yeah, that's right. So speaking of, it's 10 a.m. We actually might add a couple other times because we've heard that we've got some folks that are not in our time zone that would appreciate maybe a different time. So we are kind of thinking about doing that. But thank you all for hanging out with us this morning or possibly your afternoon. Hope you have a wonderful Friday, an excellent weekend. We always enjoy these. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Thank you.